Hello, today is the 17th of November 2024. This video is going to be about a big learning that I had yesterday and the day before. Things that I realized about my own thoughts and my own thought patterns, and whenever I feel down, what the reason for that is. And basically, it started last weekend, exactly a week ago, when my friend Mario was over, and he's learning German at the moment, so I kind of helped him revise some of the German that he's learning, and also he taught me a bit of Spanish, so we're kind of helping each other learn our languages. And then when we finished revising, we had quite a deep and serious conversation, and it was about the uncomfortable feeling, my issue with sexuality and the confusion and stuff like that. And he could relate to a lot of things, and he gave me certain examples from his life as well, and so on. And it was so nice. It was so nice to see how much we trusted each other, and how we were just open and honest, and both of us were kind of in a similar state or stage of confusion and stuff, and fear as well a bit. But it was really nice. It was a really nice experience being able to talk to someone about this, hearing his side and his experiences as well, and his struggles, or his thoughts about it. And at first I was just so happy and glad that we were already at such a stage in our friendship that we could openly talk about this and really trust each other. And when he left, I had a great evening. I was feeling really good. I was enjoying my time. I was watching movies and listening to music and really vibing with myself. I really enjoyed it. And I was just so happy how much we trusted each other. And it was just a really nice conversation, because this topic is so scary to me, and a couple of years ago I could have never talked to anyone about this. First of all, because I had no one who I trusted that much, and also I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin, so there was no way I could have openly talked about this to anyone. So but then basically on Monday, so the day after, some negative thoughts settled in. Some thoughts that made me feel uncomfortable, some thoughts that made me feel really confused. So there was a lot of questions that didn't have an answer. I was disappointed in myself as well a bit, because I like him a lot, and it's not I have to get in a relationship with him, or I have to get him to like me. Not at all. I'm so relaxed, I'm so calm about it all. But I do like him, and I'm absolutely open, in the sense that I'm not oh, we're just supposed to stay friends and be friends, and nothing more is supposed to happen. And I would like for something more to happen if that's good for both of us. If not, then I'm so glad to have a friend like him, and I'm so happy that I feel so comfortable around him to speak to him like this, the way I do. And I just like who I am around him. I'm very happy with the person I am when I'm with him. So that's just so lovely. Anyway, there was quite a big disappointment in myself, and again, thoughts beating myself up, as if I'm gonna get in a relationship with him, as if he would choose me from everyone that he knows and all the friends that he has, and he could fall in love with so many people. There was sort of jealousy as well, but not currently, but imagining if we were to date, how many friends he could also fall in love with, or who could fall in love with him. And I was like, girl, you're like, Leona, you're going way too far, like stop it. Like, first of all, you shouldn't feel jealous. Second of all, you're not even in a relationship with him. Third of all, maybe nothing will ever happen between you guys, and you should be okay with him hanging out with other friends and stuff. And I know all of that, and I want to be okay with all of that. But the point is, I was beating myself up, telling myself how I'm not good enough, and that's what hurt me. Like, I will deal with whatever sort of jealousy. It's pretty normal, and like I'll be fine. Like, and I know that obviously I would never want to keep him from hanging out with other friends. Like, I know that's wrong of me. If I were to feel like, oh, I don't want him to hang out with anyone else, like, I would need to work on that, and I would want to work on that. But the point is, I was beating myself up, basically telling myself the whole time like how stupid I am, like giving me all these reasons for how it's never gonna happen. It's all a fantasy. I'm holding on to him way too much. So like, when I woke up that morning, like, one of the first thoughts was like how disappointed in myself I am, like how I'm holding on to him too much instead of focusing on myself, because I'm thinking about him a lot. We're meeting up a lot. Having a friend is a new thing for me, and it's so nice. But then I always come back to like feeling really lonely, feeling alone, feeling really sad, sort of struggling with my own self-talk. So when I'm not around him or not thinking about him, I fall back into like that sort of negativity. And then I notice like, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to hold on to someone and use them or those thoughts to like cover up my actual pain that I'm feeling. Like, that's not the right reason to get into a relationship, and I would never want to get into a relationship if I knew that was the reason I'm getting into it, to like cover up my own pain. I don't want that to be the reason. But the thing is, I'm just noticing like whenever I'm thinking about him or around him, I just feel better because I'm distracted from my own negative thoughts about myself, which are like pulling me down and tearing me apart. And I just realized like I have to let go of him. Like, I have to focus on myself, find myself first, be okay with myself, accept myself first before I can go into a relationship, because only then I'll know I'm not using the other person to cover up my pain. And whenever the other person is gone then, or goes away, or I don't know, something happens, I'll immediately be pulled back into this loneliness because I'm only covering it up with the other person. So there's still no solution found for my actual pain. Yeah, and I was just very, very disappointed in myself about how much I'm holding on to him, or not like in a way like I need to have it, like not in a like a needy way, but just I'm holding on to this like possibility of actually falling in love with someone, actually having a relationship, and it just feels nice, and it's something new which I never had before. Yeah, so I believed my self-talk, and I still kind of do, but I still think it was also wrong. Like, the way my self-talk was talking to me was like, you have to let go of him. You're not allowed to hold on to him like that. You're not allowed to think of him like that anymore. You have to focus on yourself. You have to heal first, or else you're just using the other person. Like, that's how intense and strong my self-talk was. And I still think that I need to focus on myself first before it's healthy for me to get into a relationship. But at the same time, I don't have to like fully let go of him and just be like, no, he's just gonna be my friend, I'm not gonna date him, like I'm not even gonna try. Like, that's also wrong, because I can learn if I stay aware and awake and know what I'm doing. I can learn during the whole process. But at the same time, I still believe those thoughts more that are like, no, you have to let go of him. Like, this is not okay. You shouldn't be doing this. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe you're wrong. Like, maybe I want you to be wrong. Maybe it's okay. I mean, it's all part of a process and it's all a learning. And like, I'm pretty aware, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I am just kind of covering up the loneliness I feel inside, so I do need to kind of focus on myself again. And so that's what I kind of tried to do. That's, I guess, what brought up a lot of pain again and a lot of negative self-talk. I'm alone in Spain at the moment, and this week I had to work alone as well. Usually me and Amy are always working together. So, but this week I had to work alone, and I was feeling anxious every day before work, and it seemed like I couldn't really calm down the anxiety. Like, I tried to do certain skills that I learned through the Thrive program and so on, and sometimes it helped a bit and made me feel a bit better, which is already an accomplishment and it's already great, and I can see like at least I'm trying, I'm implementing certain things, like it's all great, but it didn't really help me the way I hoped it would. Or I should say that I guess I didn't really help myself the way I hoped I would. Yeah, I tried certain things, but I guess I didn't believe in them enough for them to help me. I believed the anxiety more and was way more focused on that. Once I arrived at work, I was okay. Anxiety kept coming up in between, but I was more okay than before I went to work. And then after work, I was very proud of myself. I always had a great evening. I loved reflecting on the day, seeing how I did it, I made it, it's all good. But then the next day again, I had the same anxiety again, and maybe even stronger, and it just kind of felt like I wasn't really able to do anything about it. And that wasn't a nice feeling. It felt like I couldn't really focus on much else, which is hypervigilance. So I couldn't really notice like my bedroom and all my safe space, and I'm at home and I'm watching Legacies and it's all good. But I was more like in that state of like fear. Yeah, but nevertheless, I tried to help myself, but then because it didn't work as much as I hoped it would or wanted it to, and I fell back into the anxiety afterwards, I was very disappointed. And as the days went on, I gradually even tried less and less to help myself, and gradually believed less and less that something would help. Because every time I tried something, it may have helped a bit, which I guess I didn't process that well enough, because it did kind of help a bit, some things that I helped myself in some ways, but then in other ways, yeah, I just kept falling back into the anxiety, and I don't know, I got more disappointed then, my goal for the days as well, like I didn't really achieve them as much as I wanted to. Like, I don't know, for example, like if I get stressed, to like relax, and then when I had some moments in my day where I wasn't able to relax while I was like stressed or anxious or whatever, I was like, oh my god, it's not working, like I'm not reaching this goal, like it's not helping me, it's not working. So I got really disappointed, and I was like, just starting to believe less and less that the things are helping me. And then I also automatically then tried less and less to actually help myself. So it's a vicious cycle kind of. But then 2 days ago, I had quite a deep downfall. Yeah. And I was like really hating myself and listing the things that I'm doing wrong and which I should be better at, and things I shouldn't be doing, and just, I'm horrible. And especially when I thought about my friend Mario, and I was like, you have to like let go. I was just extremely disappointed in myself and scared, I guess, because I don't want to cover up my pain, because then I know it's always gonna be there. If I don't work on it, if I don't try and heal it and use something to cover it up, it's not gonna go away. And I don't want to use anything because I know it's not good. It's gonna bring me into a spiral, which can be very difficult or seem very difficult to get out of again. I don't know, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. And I think that's what scares me. If I don't know what to do and I'm lost and I feel like everything I'm doing is wrong, that's a scary place for me to be in. I could feel how I am like tearing myself apart with all this negative self-talk about me, about myself, and I felt how strong it was, and it was really painful. And then I noticed that in my depression, any time in my life when I felt down or when I feel down, it's because I am talking so horribly about myself in my head. And I am the one tearing me down so much, proving to myself that I'm not worthy. I realized that, like, in my depression, yes, people told me how I'm not worthy, how everything is my fault, how I'm a horrible person. But the reason why it hurt me as much as it did is because when they stopped saying it, I kept saying it to myself. And I believed it. And I kept proving to myself how unworthy I am and how everything is my fault and how the hell, why should I live on if all of this is happening because of me? Then I noticed how I don't want to continue this self-talk. I don't want to tear myself down like that anymore. I want to be kinder to myself, but how can I do that when I feel like the right thing to do is tell myself I'm wrong, beat myself up so that I definitely don't go the wrong way? I beat myself up like this and tell myself how wrong I am because I'm scared to go down the wrong path, so I'm trying to prevent myself from doing the wrong things. And I wrote myself a note, which I could probably read out. Because I was basically, well, not me, basically my younger self was talking to me. Because I noticed whenever I'm beating myself up, I'm beating her up. I'm always going back to the situations where my younger self beat herself up, and I'm continuing to do that to her. So she's actually never learning how to be kind to herself, how to learn from mistakes instead of being punished for them. Yeah, and I wondered about those moments where I'm like happy and enjoying myself. And I was like, what is different in those moments to the moments where I feel so down? And I realized that in the moments where I feel happy and full of joy, I like the version that I am. I like the version of myself that I am. And so I'm not beating myself up. I'm being kind to myself. I'm loving myself, and therefore I'm happy and thriving. Those moments that I stood at the lake after my depression, I was so proud of myself. I said so many nice and confidence boosting and self-esteem boosting sort of things to myself. I was so happy and so full of life and joy because I loved myself. I loved the version of me that I was. So I made a plan to start loving myself. And first, I wrote a note to myself, which basically my younger self was telling me. And then I wrote down steps on how I can achieve not beating myself up anymore. Because I noticed if I were to continue this path can so easily and quickly lead me to depression and suicide, where I will hate myself so much that I don't want to live with myself anymore. So I was terrified of that, and I want to do everything to absolutely prevent that from happening. So, how can I learn to love myself? The only reason you ever feel so down and weak is because you are beating yourself up. The reason you feel so lonely is because you leave yourself out in the cold. And I'm not saying this so you can blame yourself more. I'm saying this so you can learn to help yourself, to love yourself. Please, please do it for me, for your younger self. The people that put you down have learned from their mistakes. You are the last person to cause yourself pain. Please learn to love me. Please stop locking me away. Please take me into your arms and hold me as close as you can. All I wanted was for you to see me, for you to love me. It doesn't matter how much someone else loves me. I need you to love me. When you felt the most whole, the most seen and at peace, why was that? It was because you loved who you were in that moment. No one else loved you more or less. You loved yourself. You loved me. You are tearing us apart because you resist yourself. And this is not for you to beat yourself up again, but to realize that this is what you believed to be correct your whole life. Please don't run away from me anymore. Come to me, face me, and you can learn to love. Please don't be afraid of me. I am you. There is nothing I can do to you that you haven't done to yourself. You can love yourself. You can love me. You've done it before and you can do it again. I'll be waiting for you here, always as love. Yeah, that might seem really cringy. But the point is, what I realized, it's not the words I used, it's not the things that I necessarily wrote, it's the realizations that I had and the next step that I know I need to make. And the question that will get me there is, do you want to get better? If I don't want to get better, if I don't want to help myself, this isn't going to work. If I want to get better and if I want to help myself, that means I'll never give up until I reach it, and that means I will reach it. So, do you want to get better? Then do this and actively try. Now, the steps to get better. So, double, triple, and quadruple praise yourself for any good deed or accomplishment, no matter how small or big. I want you to do this. Secondly, stop beating yourself up. All you do is drown yourself and make your pain grow bigger until it feels unbearable. This is not to scare you. Even if you reach that point, you'll find a way, but that's no excuse to keep beating yourself up. Third, do this for your younger self. Every time you punish yourself, you are punishing her. Do you want to punish a child? Do not beat yourself up for this. You were that child and you were taught this way of living. Now you will teach her a new way. You were this, I should probably say you were that child and you didn't know a different way of living. Not you were taught, because that would mean it was out of my control. But I didn't know a different way of living, and now I can know a different way of living. So that's giving me the control back. Okay, fourth, whenever you remember a mistake or unkind version of you from the past and use it to torture yourself, I want you to recall a huge, fat accomplishment or good deed you've achieved in your life. 5th, you do not deserve to be punished. You may believe so, but even the people that punished you tell you that you don't deserve it. You do not want to be punished. Do you honestly believe you deserve the amount of pain you're inflicting on yourself? 6th, please try and put down distractions and things you purposefully use to get away from yourself. Start by giving yourself 30 seconds of silence and gradually increase it once you realize you've got this. 7th, you don't want pain. You want a happy, peaceful life. So do this for yourself. Choose to do this for yourself. If you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you. 8, you have been down the rabbit hole of despair and gripping pain, and you made it out by seeing yourself. You want to make it, so please from now on choose not to hurt me. Choose to love me every day, multiple times a day. If you don't try, nothing's going to change. I know you want this, so take it. Take it fully. It is in your hands. Do you really believe this can make you feel more pain? Is it this that can pull you down? The opposite of this tears you apart, so take it. And then I just wrote down a couple questions I can ask myself. Do you care enough about yourself to stop beating yourself up, take control of your life, and process the positive things about you? First of all, that answer needs to be yes for anything to work. And in that moment, I was like, yes, of course I want to help myself and care enough about myself. But, ... we're gonna get to that probably in a second part of this video. So, and then the main question, do you want to get better? Is the negative self-talk helpful? Does it teach you anything? Does it bring you to where you want to be? Did it ever help you or teach you how to be a kind person? Do you need to continue it? Is it actually useful? Some of these questions, or a lot of these things, obviously were inspired by the Thrive program and what I learned. Also, what I learned after my depression and all of that. But yeah, mainly I wanted to help myself, and I truly tried to help myself in that moment, because I was sitting on my bedroom floor putting myself into despair by telling myself how stupid I am and really tearing myself down with my thoughts, making myself feel absolutely unworthy and like I'm the most horrible person, and then noticing how I'm doing this to myself. How stupid am I to do this to myself? Like, why am I doing this? I'm making myself feel worse. It's all my fault. But then, even though I gave myself the blame for that and blamed myself more, the next day when I was talking to Mom, she reminded me of how it's not my fault. I just didn't know another way. If I would have known another way, I wouldn't have done it. If I would have known a way to like not beat myself up and still reach where I want to go, then obviously I'd take the nice way. So that was nice to be reminded of that, because I completely blamed myself. I was like, I am causing myself pain. I'm doing this to myself. What a fucking stupid person am I? Like, why the hell am I doing that? It's all my fault for why I'm feeling so down and so bad. Like, it's all my fault. And then realizing I did know a different way. I'm learning. Okay. Do you want to continue it? The negative self-talk. Do you think this is how you'll reach fulfillment and happiness? Is there another way you can talk to yourself to reach your goals? Is this other way more helpful, more encouraging and uplifting? If this other, gentler and kinder way was the answer to your problems and the key to your freedom, would you drop all negative self-talk and take it? Which way will really lead you to where you want to go? Which one is truly helpful? Which one do you choose? Is there a point in beating yourself up? Where does that actually get you? Where would positive self-talk get you? What would that feel like? Is that a possibility of living life this way? Could that be the key to your answers, your freedom, and yourself? You know the answer. Gave myself some encouragement there. But the truth is, we all know the answer. You know the answer, but yeah, why is it that you don't take it? If you liked yourself, you would never want to commit suicide. In those moments where you're happy and at peace, you like the version of yourself that you are. And then here's a realization I had a few days before this. Every moment I'm experiencing life with myself, and in every situation I get to know a new version of me. Sometimes I like this version, so I'm at peace. Other times I don't and feel anxious. Who do I choose to be today? So that's what came out of my brain and onto a sheet of paper while I was sobbing and crying and in despair and feeling very, very down and no hope is left and it's all horrible and I'm doing everything wrong, just always doing everything wrong. Yeah. After that, I felt slightly better. I went for a shower, called my family, played a game with my sisters, had a nice evening, but I still wasn't doing great. And I still didn't feel much better. And I was constantly telling myself, of course, I want this to work, I want this to help. But then I didn't actually try that hard to make it work. So why was that? We're gonna get to it. And I think we're gonna get to that in part 2 of this video, or else this video is gonna be too long. So yeah, see you in part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.